Thank you all of you, for your support over the weekend. It's been fantastic. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you all very much. We hope to see you again this time next year. I'd also like to thank our sponsors for this event, Cantor Fitzgerald, and I'd like to thank all our volunteers. Give them a big round of applause. And I can't think about any writer, any creative, more apt to conclude the 2024 Dalkey Book Festival than the life, the work, the times of our next guest. But you don't need me, because I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Stephen Rea, and he and Neil Jordan are going to talk for an hour or so, and then Neil is going to sign at the back. So, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Rea and Neil Jordan.
Are you coming in? Am I in? So I just want to say, well, to get this out of the way, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have had a career in film. Because I was doing all theatre, and then I wanted to do film, and suddenly this creature came along and said, I'm doing a film, do you want to be in it? And he handed me a saxophone and a script.
My saxophone.
Was your saxophone? You got it back, didn't you? And it was just a great friendship, and you know, lots of, like, some of the most interesting Irish films ever made. I mean, I think Butcher Boy was an astonishing film, actually, wasn't it?
I enjoyed making it, definitely. I loved making it.
Yeah, I loved it too.
Can you guys hear us properly, yeah?
Yeah, and of course, Crying Game, and there was lots of them. We can talk about those, yeah.
Okay.
I don't usually have the control in this relationship.
Well, yes, you do, Steve.
Oh, yes, I do. No, well, I mean,
you can't tell this man what to do.
The Angel, the first film that he made, and the first film that I made, was just this incredible moment in Irish cinema, because everything changed from then on, really, I think, and it was due to Neil, it was due to John Borman, who's not in this country anymore, but he did a fantastic job setting it up, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, brilliant.
And
great, yeah.
where you know, the wrong person in that job of his, the film board, he could have just forgotten about it, you know. And it became, it became a kind of a cult film, didn't it?
Well, it cost him a lot of heartache, actually. Yeah. I mean, do you want to go into that now?
Go on ahead.
Well, I mean, it seems sometimes that every time you do something new in Ireland, there's people are throwing things at you, you know, and they get upset by various things, and you can never understand quite what it is. I mean, John, I had worked on this huge movie John did called Excalibur, and there was Liam Neeson, there was Kieran Hines, there was Gabriel Byrne, there was even Mannix Flynn. Who's now councillor. I believe he was chopping people up with swords.
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren, yeah, but I'm just talking about the Irish people.
Oh,
yeah. So John had this thing. Is she Irish, Helen? Is she Helen? Right. Yeah,
no, she's
Russian. The Queen. She is.
She is Russian.
She is. Yeah, I know. Anyway, but, so John had this big production, and he asked me. I've done some writing with him before, and he asked me to do a documentary on making this film, and I then, after I wrote the script Angel, and John said he would do his best to produce it, you know, and he sent it to some people in America. Tell me if I'm boring you, please. 2 hands are raised, lads. No, but John sent it to some people in America, and they said, yeah, it's great if you set it in Texas or in, you know, California or the southern states or something. It'd be interesting. And then I brought it to Channel 4, and John wasn't aware of this, you know, and I showed it to, they just set up Channel 4, a wonderful man called Jeremy Isaacs, and Walter Donoghue, and David Rose, yeah?
Right.
And they were trying to change the, trying to change the aesthetic of British TV involvement and make it more film-based, you know, so it would be more like Kathy Come Home that Ken Roach made, and all that stuff. And they said they loved the script, and I said, okay, if you want to do it, I would like to direct it, yeah? And they were kind of shocked. And they said, what do you know about directing films? And I said, well, I've just done this little documentary on John, and I showed it to them. And I said, and by the way, John has agreed to produce it, yeah? Which is kind of bold of me, really. It was kind of mean.
Had he not agreed to?
He had agreed to, but he didn't know I was having this meeting, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, so then I went back to John, and I said, John, we have, these people want to put quite considerable amount of money at the time. It was almost 80% of the budget into the film. And so he was producing it, and then he had to go to the film board to get more money, and that caused a lot of problems for him. And I always felt a bit guilty, because I kind of, he found himself in a spot, you know, that he hadn't engineered himself, you know. Anyway, the movie came out and people liked it, I think.
Yeah, the problem, the embarrassment for him was that there were other Irish filmmakers who had been hoping to get a piece of the funding, and
John found himself accused of some kind of favoritism or something like that, which was
he just
very
felt
unfair. I felt guilty about it for a long time because it caused him a lot of trouble, you know.
And I know a lot of these other people, you know, they're friends really. But there's no question your script was, of course, and yours was the superior script, and he put all his money on you, and it worked, you know.
You can put, percentage of it. But anyway, can I just say that nowadays, if somebody wants to make a movie, say the gentleman who made that wonderful movie on Colleen Kuhn, had never directed a film before, and that is acceptable. In fact, it's encouraged. But then people in the unions and the film community reacted with fury to somebody who hadn't earned their stripes, let's put it that way, you know, hadn't gone up through the industry, hadn't been a clapper loader or an assistant director, or hadn't made a few short movies, you know. So, I mean, the entire environment has changed, which I think is brilliant, you know. And now, you know, there's, from the film board, there's all this demand for, you know, for inclusiveness and for diversity and for new voices and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just wonderful the country has changed so much, but it wasn't like that then, you know.
No, we were very lucky to get it on.
I was, yeah.
But it was a beautiful film.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. It really was. Yeah, it was an extraordinary film. You know, I mean, and the wonderful thing, the writing is so great, and in a way, it was kind of, I didn't totally understand all of it when I got the script. You know, it was and because it was very original. Your way of writing is so original, and well, that's right. But it was a great. I don't know if anybody's seen it anymore. You know,
we haven't.
You know, it was just we were right in the heart of, you know, the violence in the north, weren't we?
Well, it was. I mean, it was kind of revenge. It took the format of a revenge thriller, but I always had in my mind that it was making a musical for some strange reason. Because it was about a band, you know? And at the time, the Miami show band, they had been shot up, you know, coming down through somewhere from Newry or something like that, you know. And
it was terrible.
it always seemed that musicians were somehow immune to the conflict, so that was a shocking thing, you know. So anyway, we made it years ago, and nobody's seen it since.
I don't know what you're talking
never came
about.
across as just a straightforward musical, you know, did it?
No, of course not.
No. So why did you say that? No, the music in it was wonderful, wasn't it? And
I think so.
honor singing and all that.
So,
Yeah, it was just a very original film. Okay.
Thank you.
Now what? Um,
You're going to talk about that book, I believe. Yeah.
I talk, I'm sure they know what it's about, but you know, then no, I will talk about the book. I mean, I didn't mean to just go straight and talk about film, but as that was, because what's interesting about this book, there's a lot of Neil's life before I knew Neil, you know, when he was a young kid and everything, and the Ireland that existed at that time was you know, different and
Yeah, very different. Yeah.
wasn't it? And there's a lot
Quite
of
different. Yeah. Well, I was asked to write. There's an editor called Neil Belton, who runs the publishing company, and he said to me, basically, he said, because I published a novel last year called The Well of Saint Nobody, you know, and he said to me, have you ever thought of writing a memoir? And I thought the idea was repellent, actually. You know, I didn't know it. To look at your own life and your own stuff. And I just began writing, you know, I began writing about my mother when she was ill and she was driving. I was driving her back to an area of the country that actually, I didn't even know she was born in this place. So I began writing about that and it just developed, you know. I mean,
well, that's fascinating. Well, like I had met your mother a few times, you know, and everything.
Yeah.
Just your relationship with her is very touching, you know. And
yeah, well, she was a painter, you know.
Yeah.
She was a painter. And my sister's a painter, Ethna Jordan is a painter, and you know, we grew up over in Dollymount, and you know, she wanted to put paintbrushes in her hands from a young age, and my father was a teacher, and he actually was the, is there any teachers here, any male teachers? No. 20 years ago, there would have been nothing to teach. Anyway, my father, he was the Kiggery, he taught all the teachers in Ireland, basically. And it was a very kind of weird experience realizing at school that these kids, these teachers, however terrifying they may be, they're even more terrified of your father. The first time it occurred to me, because at the time most teachers were from the country, you know, they were country fellas in tweeds and bony kind of bogmen kind of guys, you know. And there was a very elegant Dublin teacher there, and he had long nails. And I must have done something wrong. I was in Belgrove School over in Dollymount, Clontarf. And I must have done something wrong, and he whacked me across the face, yeah. And his nail cut my cheek. Now it didn't hurt me, but it drew blood. And he was suddenly so terrified, and I was wondering, why is he so frightened? You know, I mean, he's been hitting everybody. And he was steadily saying, okay. And I realized, oh, my father is an inspector. That's why he's so concerned, apparently. You know, so it was a strange thing, but anyway, that's my background.
well, that wasn't the entire background. No, but it was, you know, physical punishment was
Oh, yeah.
rule of the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry. Yeah, it was fun. And, you know, well, they whack you, you know, it goes off your back, doesn't it really, you know? As long as they whack everybody, as long as they don't whack you. It was the culture there.
Well, anyway, so that's the beginning of the book. And so we go back to the films now, will we?
He came to my house earlier. He said, "What am I going to talk about?" And he said, "I love the beginning of the book, you know."
No, well, I do.
But then when I get to the films, okay, I know all that. But okay, let's
no,
go.
because it's very, I promise you, it's very moving, and the whole, the area, you know, when you were growing up in North County Dublin, going for your Holliers and everything, and it is very touching indeed.
Okay, but let's go back to the films, okay?
Oh, so, well, that's North County Dublin as well, isn't it?
Where we shot Angels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we shot bits of
The Crying Game,
Crying
Michael
Game.
Collins,
Michael Collins. So you like that landscape?
Well, it's not that really. It's just if you have an image in your mind and you want to find a location, you know, something leaps to your mind, and it's probably because you remember it from childhood, you know. So, you know, I've shot a lot of stuff along that. What's that? I've shot a lot of stuff along that Boyne kind of estuary and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
Well, the thing in Michael Collins was interesting because it was
A bridge, yeah.
you know, they had a secret of Broy and Michael Collins had a secret meeting on the bridge.
Did you have umbrellas in that scene?
I think I declined an umbrella.
You did. You shouldn't have. Yeah. It was so nice.
Did he decline?
Yeah, because I wanted it to look like Hokusai. You know Hokusai, the Japanese painter? You know?
Well, you should have said so.
I did say so. You also.
I mean, to bring it up now.
4 years later. Bloody hell.
Cheers.
And afterwards, Liam said to me, after we saw the movie, he said, I wish we'd had umbrellas.
How sure does he know about umbrellas?
Okay.
No, I don't know. But anyway, it was a nice place. It's an obviously public place. It was a great place to have a secret meeting between two conspirators.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Spain going over and all that, yeah. But then we made a movie called Company of Wolves. Why
That
don't
was
you
the
go
second one.
Why don't you go in sequence? Might be easier.
Okay. Company of Wolves.
You played a guy, a husband, who wandered into the night and hearing the howling of wolves and came back once his wife had married somebody else. And you tore it. What did you play? Remind me.
I don't know what. I became a wolf.
You became a wolf, yeah. But before you became a wolf.
Well, I was a nice.
Oh, you were a lover. You were getting married, weren't you? Or something like that.
You know the script.
But I remember we had to turn Stephen into a wolf. Okay.